Everyone can be seated.
We need our client.
They still bring up Mr. Adelson.
Yeah. Should be here in a second.
All right, for everyone in the gallery, once the verdict is read, if there can please be no expressions either of shock or anger, please have no reaction at all. We're going to thank the jury for their service and then they'll be dismissed. But again, it's very important not to either praise them or be negative concerning whatever the outcome of this is going to be. If you don't think you can control yourself, please step outside now so it does not become an issue. Jury comes in, remain seated. Everyone else, please rise. Everyone but the foreperson can be seated. Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you please could hand the verdict form to the bailiff. The verdict form is in its proper order. Madam Clerk, please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Second Judicial Circuit in and for Leon County, Florida, the State of Florida versus Charles Adelson, case number 2016 CF 3036B, verdict. Count 1. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. So say we all this 6th day of November, 2023.
Does the defense wish for the court to poll the jurors?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror Moore, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes.
Juror Brazos, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
It was.
Juror Gardner, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes.
Juror Strong, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, sir.
Juror Kraft, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror Milne, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, sir.
Juror Hawley, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, sir.
Juror Thorne, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, sir.
Juror Brim, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, sir.
Juror Williams, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, sir.
Juror Douglas, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, Your Honor.
Juror Platt, was your verdict and the verdict of the jury as a whole just announced?
Yes, Your Honor.
Members of the jury, I'm going to give you one last brief instruction, and from here you will be discharged from your service. On behalf of the parties, the lawyers, and the people of the state of Florida, I want to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I'm also going to advise you of some special privileges that are enjoyed by jurors. No juror can be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room, except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain a private affair for as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. The lawyers and their representatives are not permitted to initiate any communication with you concerning the trial. However, you may speak to the lawyers or anyone else about the trial if you desire. You also have the right to refuse to speak with anyone. A request may come from those who are simply curious or from those who might seek to find fault with this decision. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. We give you our sincere thanks for the work that you have performed over this 2-week trial. You are discharged. Have a wonderful evening. Everyone may be seated. Mr. Adelson, you are going to be remanded pending sentencing at this time. Does the defense wish to have a pre-sentence investigation report prepared as to counts 2 and 3?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. The court will order that the pre-sentence investigation be prepared by the Department of Corrections. believe it will take possibly a month. I'm not sure if it will take longer than that. From there, will the parties be prepared to move into sentencing? Tracy, does my
Prepared to present victim impact tonight, but as you know, the family members have traveled a great distance, so we're hoping Your Honor will permit them to appear and make those statements by Zoom whenever we're reconvening for sentencing.
that will be permitted? Anyone who wishes to provide testimony for the sentencing portion may do so over Zoom. I believe this does not implicate any right of confrontation unless the defense has something to raise concerning that matter.
No, Your Honor.
Very well. We are in recess at this point. Oh, yes. We are going to wait until the jurors have vacated the courthouse, and from there, everyone will be dismissed. Go ahead and set a case management date as a status. This will ensure that we have the PSI in place. That will be on December 12th at 2:30 in the afternoon. If everything is prepared, we can go ahead and have the final disposition on that day as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have a good night, everyone.
She walked out with Sarah.
Oh,
She'll probably stay and answer some questions.
I will give you a statement.
Okay.
Isn't Georgia going first?
She walked out with us.
Okay, we'll talk for a minute. This is a great milestone for the Markel family. We are grateful to Jack Campbell, the State Attorney's Office, for his excessive and extremely well-bound leadership. Also, we have to thank Georgia Kaplan, Sarah Dugan, and Jason Newland, and also Eddie Evans. The entire team. And of course, Helene Potluck as well. And also Pat Sanford from the FBI, TPD, and all of the Tallahassee community and the media that's here today. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you all.
I'm just going to add,
this has been a really long ordeal.
Can you say and spell your name for us, please?
Shelley Markel, Shelley Markel. I was just going to say that this has been a really long and terrible ordeal for all of us. It's taken a long toll on our lives, and there's a real sense of relief today. And I want to just reiterate all of the thanks for the support and all the work and all the effort that got into bringing us to this date, to law enforcement and the state's attorney's office, the whole team behind it.
To all of you.
To all of the media that's really helped keep the story alive and brought forth this day, and to the Tallahassee community that's been with us every step of the way. We're really, really grateful. Thank you.
Shelley, do you think that everybody who is responsible for your brother's murder is now behind bars or has been?
I think we're going to leave that question for now and enjoy this feeling of relief and satisfaction of today's results, and really just, feel this moment and with our appreciation for the teams that got us here today.
Phil, could you just, I was sitting right behind you as the verdict was read, and I saw the emotion in your face. Could you just describe the moment for us?
Unbelievable. Joy, happiness.
Joy and happiness is a funny thing to say, but it's sort of tinged with this feeling of relief.
The relief.
It's relief. It's a long time
It's
ago.
so long, 9 years, and we got to this point, and it's just a good feeling.
We're thankful. We're thankful to everybody.
Grateful, yeah.
Thank you.
Grateful and appreciative.
I just wonder what you thought as you heard for the first time a member of the Adelson family testifying about what they say actually happened. As you were listening to that testimony, what was in your minds?
He deserves a defense, and I think Rashbaum tried hard for him, but the truth is the truth, and that's what came out. The verdict is guilty.
Can you say, do you feel a certain way about this decision, given this is the first one involving one of the people that set this situation?
I think we want to say we don't want to talk about the future. We want to live in the moment, and thank you for the present. We are really delighted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Whatever calls and cover is like
Somebody's got to ask a question.
How are you feeling? Georgia? This guy.
I'm feeling thrilled. I'm feeling relieved. I'm feeling like a lot of hard work has paid off.
Is this the last prosecution we're going to see in the Dan Markel murder, or will there be others?
I don't know the answer to that question yet, so stay tuned.
I guess
That's
that's
all
the
you
question.
guys care about.
No, that's the question everybody has, is we've asked it after each trial. Who's next?
Great job. Revel in this for a few days at least.
What do you think about this element of surprise defense? The shock in the opening. Was that anticipated in any way?
Yes, we did suspect that some version of that could happen. There were some details that we didn't totally anticipate, but wasn't a complete surprise.
The double extortion?
Yeah, well, not the double extortion, but that it could be some form of blackmail. We knew he had to own the payment, and that there was going to be some version of I had to pay under duress. So not the details of the layered extortion, but some version of it.
You mentioned in your closing you were kind of expressing concern that the jurors could be confused by some of the evidence and some of what the defense was saying.
Yeah.
How worried were you when the jury went out that you could end up on this trial?
Every time the jury goes out, I'm extremely worried. So I was worried. I mean, it's not that I don't trust these jurors or trust my case or trust the evidence or justice, but you never know what's going to happen. And it was a lot of information that was thrown at them. So I had to just sort of hold my breath until the verdict came out.
And how did you feel when you heard that first guilty?
Oh, there's no way to describe it. Just total relief.
Can you tell us how you felt for the Markel family? You've been dealing with them.
They have been such troopers. They have stuck with me and stuck behind me. They don't always agree with all the decisions that I've made in this case, particularly the timeline of things. So it's been great to have their support and have them stand behind me the whole way. And I'm thrilled that they got justice today. Just absolutely thrilled.
Do they have all the justice they deserve? A
Stop.
variation of the same thing.
I'm a lawyer. Anybody else?
Are you gonna still do the investigatory interviews of Harvey and Donna?
Not pursuant to the subpoenas that were associated with Mr. Adelson's case. So we'll see going forward whether anything more arises.
Is the investigation still going on?
Yes. Yeah.
You said one of the things that you said in your closing when you were talking about Katherine Magbanua, there's essentially that no one feels more strongly about her than the people on our side of the table. You're putting somebody on there who you put on trial twice, and now saying that everything she said in that other trial was a lie. How is that? So, can you just describe what that's like to have to deal with a witness of that?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get to pick our witnesses. A lot of times our witnesses are culpable or guilty in the crimes, and we have to own that. We can't hide from it, and that's what I attempted to do with her, was put her on there, have her tell the truth, and own the fact that she told many lies before.
What would your response be to some of the doubt that was cast on this case that the state presented?
Was there? It was a pretty quick verdict.
I meant rather on the defense's side.
Oh, well, that's their job, and I think they did a fine job. I'm thrilled that justice prevailed and that the jury was able to see the truth through all their good efforts to block it.
Why do you think that it was so important for the defense to preserve the element of surprise? They gave away the corroboration potentially of Harvey, Donna, and Mr. Mintz.
I think to keep us unprepared, or to hope that we would be less prepared to rebut it.
Did you have to make a lot of changes in your strategy once you heard that opening statement from Mr. Rashbaum?
We made some adjustments. I wouldn't say a lot of big changes. The truth is not going to change, right? I mean, you're going to pull out some additional materials to try to push back against whatever it is they're alleging, but the truth isn't going to change.
Will Katherine Magbanua get some kind of reward or reduced sentence for her cooperation in this case?
That I don't know yet either. That's a conversation I'm going to have with my boss and some other folks on the team, and we'll get back to you on that. All right, speaking of... All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you. Great job, ladies. Great job, Sarah. Great job, Georgia.
Good job, Sarah. Good job.
Appreciate it. See y'all later.
Great.
She can't. You're probably not tired, isn't it?